There are known knowns. There are things we know we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there's some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know.
Somebody please tell me what the is going on. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, it's boxing talk with Raphie. What episode are we on? What episode are we on? Somebody please tell me what the is going on. Sound check complete. Let me have a look down in the description box. Yep, empty. We'll just fill that in once again. This is Boxing Talk with Raphie 86. And if you haven't been here before, excuse me, if you've not been here before, this is where we come, we gather at least a couple of times a week for the live show, where we gather to talk boxing and boxing related items. Okay, we're going in. Let me put the description back in the description box and press save. It's a weekly thing now. Okay, everything appears to be in order. Okay, let me check over. Let me reload the YouTube window. Let me put the description. Boom. Kill that sound. Yes. Description box is filled. Where are we? Yes. Cal L early up in the building. And yes, all good over here, Cal L. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a short warming video. Allow the area to populate. Where are we? Let's go for a short one. Let's go for a quick short. I know the ideal one. And this will help us populate the area. And it's a topic we're going to be talking about also. So it is perfecto. So let me share my screen. Philip Carl Roberts up in the building. Maybe I should just write it down. So as people come in and know what's going on. Warm in video in progress. Boom. So bring that down. Get out of there. Share my screen. And we are good to go. Let's get the volume right. Okay.
Yes. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Comeback Radio. And this is quite self-explanatory. Errol Spence getting his groove on, getting his swerve on in the club. Definitely on his way to recovery. Definitely. What the hell? Did I just see a guy with a fox over his shoulder? Dang, there he is. There he is to the side. Is that a fox? Is that one of the Charlos? It looks like Charlo type behavior. But anyway, back on topic, I was slightly distracted by the fox. Okay, so this is just a quick one. Errol Spence is getting well. He's back in the club. He's up in the club. Damn. I hope he ain't drinking. And I sure hope he ain't driving. Yeah. He's on his way to recovery. For sure. I'm not even going to go into the backstory. You already know the backstory. I don't think there's a person in boxing who don't. That's definitely a fox on the shoulder. I don't think there's a person in boxing who don't know the backstory. Errol Spence up in the club, drinking, and then driving home with the white Ferrari, soft top down, no seat belt, and he made it out. He made it out. Now he's back up in the club, and I'm not hating. I'm not hating the guy living. I'm glad he survived. I'm glad he could dance another day. I just hope he ain't drinking and driving. I hope he's on the mineral water. Seriously. Hope he's learned his lesson. He said in his first interview since the accident, I was on PBC, said that people wanted to explain a miracle, but he can't explain a miracle. So I think he knows that it was a massive blessing that he received. Some would call it luck, some would call it whatever. Me personally, I'd call it a blessing. I think he calls it a blessing too. I hope he don't blow the blessing. I hope you don't blow the blessing, Errol. I hope you're on the mineral water. I hope this time you call an Uber. So that's the story. Errol Spence is clearly well on the mend. And he's back up in the club. Dang. I hope you learned your lesson. Hope you learned your lesson, Errol. Yeah, it's just a quick one. Just to let you know, Errol Spence progress report. It's a progress report. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comment. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Okay. I got this from Biased Unbiased Tweet. So thanks for that. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. And I'm out.
Okay. Let's come out of that and get back into this. Yes. Okay. So what's going on? What is going on? Okay. Right. Where are we? Cal L. Time for the roll call. Time for the roll call. And then we get into the shout. Philip Carl Roberts in the building. I haven't seen Philip Carl Roberts in a few weeks. How you doing, Philip? I'm glad somebody reminded me of that. I'm going to get him with a flying elbow kick. Words of none other than the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder. Crazy. Okay, what's going on here? Mickey Dub. Looks like Spence should stick to boxing and leave the dancing to Raphie. I hear you, Mickey Dub. Dancing is good for rhythm. For real indeed. That's right. But he's not really much of a dancer in the ring. He's not really much of a dancer in the ring. It's interesting. He loves to dance so much. We're talking, of course, about none other than Errol Spence Jr. Yeah, he doesn't seem to do much dancing in the ring. I mean, yeah, in the ring. Although he loves to dance so much. I don't know. Interesting. Absolutely. What a hell of a blessing the man received. It's a hell of a blessing. Robin Guerrero up in the building. Also follows me on Twitter. I appreciate the likes, bro. I appreciate the likes. Excellent tie. Okay, so where are we now? Okay, we're 10 minutes into the show. So, where are my manners? Where are my manners? Let me put the link. Let me drop the link in the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Link is now in the chat. Will is in the building. Okay. Errol Spence Jr. Yep. We're going to have a little chat about Errol Spence Jr. I cannot remember for the life of me whether we discussed this last week. No, it's impossible. It was this week. It was Monday. It's impossible because I recorded the video after the show. Okay. I was wondering, had I talked about this before? But now it's just come back to me. I remember I finished the show, and it's much like the theater. You know, actors in the theater, they need to wind down after a show. And I have previously likened doing a show to a bit like theater. It's a bit like theater. It's a bit like theater. And then after the end of the show, and you still got a little bit of a buzz because there's nervous energy at the beginning, you know, and I thought about it just earlier on, not even but 2 hours ago, and it came to me. This may be like theater, but it's a little bit different because it's interactive. It's interactive theater. So you have your script. You have your script written down. But because it's like street art, because you have people coming on stage and you don't know, they ain't got no script, or you don't know what script they're working off. You didn't write their script for them. They're working off their own script. And so it's a little bit like theater, street theater, and improv. So you get a little bit of a nervous energy right at the beginning of the show. And then by the end of the show, you've got this nice feeling. I don't know if it's adrenaline. I don't know what it is. But you can't go to sleep immediately, even though over here it's bedtime. Immediately after the show is bedtime, but you don't want to go to sleep immediately. So after the Monday show, just had a quick little scout around, and one of the messaging groups that I'm involved with posted up it was on Twitter. It was on Twitter. Yeah. Somebody tweeted me, or I saw their tweet, and I found the Errol Spence thing immediately after the Monday show, and I knew I had to talk about it. Knew I had to mention it, get into it, talk about it. And so we're talking about it now. Talked about it in a video. I made a video, but now we can talk about it live on the show. Live on the show. Okay, so the Errol Spence thing. One has to be, listen, there's nothing wrong with going out and having a dance. I think it's good for you. I think it's good to get out there. Personally, I think it's good to get out there and, you know, socialize in a pleasant environment. You know, the environment, it's cool. I think it's good to socialize in a pleasant environment. I'm all for that. Yeah, I've never heard of guerrilla theater. I must look that up. BH, guerrilla theater. Never heard of that, but yeah, I trust you. I trust that it's some kind of improv. Anything could happen. You got a loose script. You got your topics, but then anything could happen. Yeah, so where are we? Okay, link in the chat late. That's BH in the building. Leighton Evelyn in the building. Yeah, I'm talking about the Errol Spence thing. I don't know if everybody's seen the video. Played it earlier on as the warm-in video. Errol Spence up in the club. And like I say, there ain't nothing wrong with going out and getting your groove on. Having a little dance. You know, I'm quite partial to heading out when I can, you know. Guerrilla theater is a term, a type. Yeah, a type of theater. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, but you know, as an athlete, you really got to watch that alcohol consumption. Obviously, if you flipped your Ferrari whilst intoxicated, whilst DWI, driving whilst intoxicated, then obviously that's a bit of a problem at the very least. And so, you know, with this video emerging, recent video clip emerging of Errol Spence up in the club. Yeah, didn't have a drink in his hand, but one fears that he has not learned his lesson. But the fact that he didn't have a drink in his hand may be indicative of the possibility of the notion that he may have learned his lesson. Yeah, I forgot about the gun. I forgot about the gun. Yeah, but I mean, it's America, you know, it's America. I guess that's just like packing your guns, like packing a wallet over here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so like I say, Errol Spence did not have a drink in his hand in the video clip, which we saw. Your taxi home if you're drinking, though. Yeah. Spence could afford a chauffeur and had no excuse. Yeah, he could have afforded, I'm sure he could have afforded a Uber. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure he could afford a Uber. Mr. Two Hands said his face was a welterweight on its own. Yeah. So, you know, so long as the guy's laying off the what do you call that? The devil's juice. As long as he's laying off the devil juice, then he should be fine. Didn't see no drink in his hand. But everybody's got to go out there and let off a little steam sometime. I don't have a problem with that, but you have to control the devil juice. You can't let the devil juice control you. Okay, so that's Errol Spence. We talked about. And now I think that's complete. Yeah, let's go. A bit of FaceTime. I think that's complete. Okay, so let's get into the topic sheet. Let's see what we got to dissect, chop, and dissect. Let's have a look. What's first? Okay. No one cares. What? Okay, so the first topic is that. Second topic. Okay, I'm going to third topic. I'm going with the third headline topic. Let me just write it down to remind myself what it is. Whyte versus Ruiz. Okay, so for those who've seen the video made today, you will know that Eddie Hearn has made, well, let me bring up the article. Yeah, there it is. Is that it? That's it. Let me bring it down so I know exactly where it is. Let me share my screen. Okay, so for those who see my video on this topic released earlier today, you will already know. But for those who haven't, here is breaking news, breaking story, and this release. Yeah, last night. It came out last night, UK time. Okay, so Eddie Hearn has made a 7-figure offer to Andy Ruiz Jr. to fight Dillian Whyte in March 28th, specifically March 28th or sometime in April. Okay, so Eddie Hearn was reportedly made a 7-figure offer to former IBF WBA, you know the rest, heavyweight champion Andy Ruiz Jr. for him to battle the highly ranked matchroom boxing fighter Dillian Whyte on March the 28th or sometime in April, as reported by the reliable Mike Coppinger. Okay, so where we at? Okay, so link is in the chat. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, so this would be a risky move. The article goes on to say this would be a risky move by Hearn, because if Ruiz is in shape, he likely dominates. As the article states, the sluggish, easy to hit Dillian Whyte. Not showing Dillian Whyte much love there. Call him sluggish and easy to hit. Though there may be an element in there. Okay. On paper, this is an easy fight for Ruiz, says the article, as long as he's in shape. With all the money that Ruiz has made in his last 2 matches with Anthony Joshua, his desire to train may no longer be there. If he comes into a fight with Whyte weighing in the 280s, he will most likely lose. Okay, Whyte has looked mostly poor in his fights with Derek Chisora, Joseph Parker, and Oscar Rivas. I'm gonna be countering some of these points, just giving you the flip side, just giving you the flip mode. Okay, you could have lost all 3 of those fights if the referees that worked those contests had been on the ball. Damn, this writer don't like Dilly. Okay, so the 7-figure offer from Hearns. The 7-figure offer from Hearns to Ruiz could mean anything. I've heard that little popping sound. That means somebody's backstage. I'm not in that window, but I will get there in a minute. Okay, so where are we? Given all the money that Ruiz has made in his 2 recent fights against Anthony Joshua, it's hard to imagine him agreeing to fight Whyte for anything less than $7 million, especially with Hearn wanting the fight to take place in the UK. Some of the officiating in Whyte's fights with Joseph Parker and Oscar Rivas left a lot to be desired, says the article. Will Whyte get credit for the headbutt knockdown of with Whyte getting credit for the headbutt knockdown of Parker. In his fight with Rivas, the referee stopped the action suddenly in the 11th after Whyte had been hurt by a body shot. The referee mistakenly thought it was a low blow and let Whyte recover. Ruiz likely won't want any part of fighting Whyte in the UK after seeing those fights. Damn. Ruiz might be reluctant to fight Whyte in the UK. Sources. Eddie Hearn made a 7. Yeah, I read that bit. Okay. Ruiz is a better option for Whyte than Povetkin. A fight between Whyte and Ruiz would obviously be a much bigger match than a Whyte-Povetkin fight. There's really no comparison. Povetkin looked pretty old and pedestrian in his recent fight against Matchroom fighter Michael Hunter. Once again, I have to disagree with that. On the undercard of Joshua Ruiz in Saudi Arabia. If Hearn wants to attract a large crowd and ensure the PPV numbers are high on Sky Box Office, then he'll need Ruiz Jr. as Whyte's next opponent. Povetkin is a good fighter, but he's kind of old. And his last performance against Hunter wasn't great. Once again, I disagree with the article. But that's the article. We're about to chop it up as I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from down in New Zealand. It's the Big Boys Boxing. Big Boys, how do you do?
Not too bad, brother. And you?
Yeah, man, I'm good. It's the same old mantra with me these days. It's time. There don't seem to be enough time to fit everything in, but you know what's a challenge? It's a nice challenge. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's a nice challenge, just having the time constraints. I got to do this video. I've got to prepare the live. I've got to go back and research how the damn technical aspects, things that I can do that I didn't know I could do technically. And then you got to find the time to implement them in the show. But it's a nice challenge. I'm not complaining. I accept the challenge. And, of course, with challenge comes reward. So I accept the reward, too. Without the challenge, there is no reward. So, you know, it's a yin and yang thing. We're talking about, I think, as you know, we're talking about the Ruiz, the offer to Andy Ruiz from Eddie Hearn to fight Dillian Whyte.
Yeah, it's a good fight. It's the one I would prefer Whyte to have next over Povetkin. But I don't have high hopes if it's going to be in the UK. Like the article said, Ruiz has expressed his concerns with officiating due to recent events in the UK. And being a American PBC fighter probably ain't going to help his cause with regard to any of that. But definitely, I'd like to see that fight.
Yeah. Where is the article? Made some kind of strong points, kind of harsh points, not necessarily untrue. But I just want to go through a few. Things in the article. Let me go back and share. Let me go back and share this thing. Where is it? Is there it? Okay. So the last tranche, last portion, a fight between Whyte and not that. What did they talk about? Povetkin. Yeah. Okay. Ruiz is one of 3 heavyweights on Whyte's shortlist for his next fight in April or May. The other 2 are Alexander Povetkin and Otto Wallin. As a matter of fact, let me not go any further than that. Let's talk about your top 3 picks out of that. So you got Ruiz, Povetkin, and Wallin. Those are the 3 guys on the shortlist for Dillian Whyte. What would your pick look like out of the 3? What would you be? How would you order those 1, 2, and 3?
I'd probably go Ruiz, Wallen, Povetkin last. But I could see an argument for Wallen being first because he's the tallest fighter out of all of them. And Whyte's going to need some practice against taller fighters.
Yeah.
So, I could see an argument for that. But definitely I'd put Povetkin as my last choice.
Yeah.
I think he's getting a bit too battle torn. I don't think his performance against Hunter was poor. I thought Hunter was the one who could have done better. But I think Povetkin's performance was okay for his age, how many wars he's been in, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. Where are we? Yeah, I'm looking at the Otto Wallen thing because I'd missed that in the original. When I originally looked at the article, I missed that Otto Wallen was a choice, and I had previously stated that Dillian Whyte should fight Otto Wallen. Totally forgot about that option, but I put it to you that if Ruiz, if Whyte, Hearn fall short in obtaining the signature of Andy Ruiz to fight in the UK, we're talking about March, April this year. I put it to you that Otto Wallen, or you just agreed actually, Otto Wallen should be the next man on the list because Otto Wallen for me, he's got the height like you say, and Dillian Whyte was going to need preparation for that. But not only that, but Otto Wallen, I think I heard another pop. I think somebody's waiting backstage. I'll get to you in a moment. I'm in a different window. Otto Wallen he's got a name now. He's got name recognition now after putting up a valiant effort against Tyson Fury, Big Boys Boxing.
Yeah, well, he's definitely brought himself into the limelight, even losing that fight. He was expected to do something along the lines of Tom Schwartz against Fury, wasn't he? So
yeah,
he's certainly proved that he's worthy of fighting some of the top fighters, and maybe he could beat some of them. So it would be a very interesting fight against Dillian Whyte, I think. Wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, and let's bring in straight away. It's the Watcher from down under, the land down under. Good day, Watcher.
Good day to you all.
Indeed,
Good day, mate.
Indeed. Yeah, indeed. Everything good down there in Aussie land?
Yeah, everything's all right. Everything's good.
The bushfires calmed down?
Yeah, a bit. Just a bit. People got to understand it's just one area of Australia that's undergoing it. It's not the whole of it, you know.
It's not the whole island burning.
No, definitely not.
Southwest Australia, isn't it? Oh, southeast, sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So introductions complete. Dillian Whyte's got 3 people on his shortlist. An offer's been made to Andy Ruiz. The other two on the shortlist are Povetkin, Alexander Povetkin, and Otto Wallen. Don't know if Ruiz is going to be tempted to take the fight. Don't even know if he's going to be tempted to get back in the gym. Like I say, those silk sheets can weigh heavy on a man at 6 a.m. in the morning. It can be very heavy. What do you think about the chances of tempting Ruiz back into the gym, back into a fight with Dillian Whyte, the Watcher?
I don't think Andy's going to do it because doesn't Dillian want to fight in April or May? He wants to fight in like April, I think.
Yeah, March, end of March, April.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ruiz fought in December. He's still out and about this month. He'll be out and about in February. To prepare for, Dillian Whyte, you're going to need a lot of time, and I don't think he's got the motivation to get it in that time. I mean, what, he'll have March and that's it. He won't take this one on late notice. I don't think he'll take that risk.
Well, March 28th. If he gets in training for January 28th, that's January, February. Oh, that's only 2 months.
Yeah, no, Ruiz won't take that. I don't think he will. No, to get back into the gym with Manny Robles, I don't think so. It sounds very unconvincing.
Yeah, it's only 2 months for real. Well, 2 months, 2 weeks right now.
Yep.
2 months, 2 weeks. Damn, I got my maths all mixed up. I thought but you said or April. So February 28th, January 28th, February, March, April. If he takes it in April, he's got 3 months. If he starts training now, he's got 3 months, 2 weeks. But I hear what you're saying. What you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Okay, let me go over into the chat before we finish up on this topic, because there's another element to it. There's another element to it which I don't want to forget. So, best case scenario. Okay, I've written that down. Can't forget it. Okay, let's acknowledge the chat here. In the US, we call it a designated driver. There are those that stay sober. Yes, I am often the designated driver. I'll have a couple of shots, but I'm still way under. I am the designated driver because I want to be. I prefer to be that way. Okay. Drinking really affects stamina as well. Hope it's sorted. Yeah, I mean, people do things, sportsmen do things and get away with things. I remember a sportsman called Gianluca Vialli. As the name suggests, an Italian footballer. Came over from Italy when there was the invasion, when the restrictions were taken off how many foreign players you could have in the football association, in the FA, in the football teams, British football, English football teams. And he came over from Italy, and I remember he was a very good player. Some would say great. I remember there was a picture of him with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth, and I was a kid at the time, and I was shocked. I thought, how the hell can you play football and be a smoker? And it's kind of shocking. So, certain athletes, they get away with certain unedifying habits which are not particularly conducive to good performance, but they're so good, they get away with it. But that said, how much better would Gianluca Vialli have been were he not a smoker? Big Boys Boxing.
Oh, definitely. I know from experience how much that sort of thing takes toll. I was an athlete as a teenager in early 20s, and I was a smoker at the time and obtained several national records in athletics and whatnot. And I've often wondered how much better I could have been if I wasn't smoking. So, I did give up smoking for quite a few years and felt like a new man for quite a while. I could go out for a 15K run, no problem. Whereas before I could only run 5Ks without blowing my ass out, So it does make a huge difference, and it takes a lot of self-discipline to be a dedicated athlete. And it's something Andy Ruiz has shown he cannot do or hasn't done.
The Watcher.
Yeah, well, smoking's bad, period. And as an athlete, it really does bring down any sort of gains, any improvements. So yeah, in the end, like that guy that was smoking, the football player, I mean, can't do that. He would have been better if as well as many others would have been better without it. It's that simple.
I'm just using smoking as a kind of, as a substitute for the alcohol, because with Errol Spence Jr. now we got the alcohol issue. So alcohol is the same thing. You can do it. You can drink and still perform, but how much better would you have been if you lived clean? You know what I'm saying? You have to wonder. You have to wonder. Okay, so where are we? I'm just scrolling down before we. Well, I may as well put. Hold on. Let me address a couple of these. It's chestnut checkers. This article is American biased. Yeah, it's definitely American biased. They don't seem to have no love for Dilly. It's not to say that they're lying, but they're coming out with the harsh, like a little bit harsh, if not necessarily inaccurate. If Ruiz still considered a top fighter, then any top fighter facing each other is good for the fans, even though risky for careers. Yeah, so I'll get to the point. I'll get to my final point on this topic, the Ruiz topic. As far this is a golden matchup. This matchup for Dillian is dangerous, but I think it's a kind of calculated danger. Not to say Dillian wouldn't fight him at any other point, but I think this could be catching Ruiz at certainly not a high ebb. But what's a high ebb and what's a low ebb? What's a high ebb and what's a low ebb for Dillian? I mean, you would have said the fighting Rivas immediately after he beat Joshua. You would have said that that's fighting Ruiz at a high ebb, at his peak. You said that's fighting him at a mental and emotional peak. He would have been flying. You would have imagined he would have been flying. And you would have said a low ebb would be fighting him at a time like this. You would have said that would have been a low ebb. But with Ruiz, it don't. With Ruiz, it don't work that way. It don't work that way with Ruiz because Joshua should have been. You'd have thought that in the rematch, Ruiz would have been at a high ebb, and now we're expecting him to be maybe at a low ebb. But it don't work like that with Ruiz. It could be. The next person who fights Ruiz might be getting one of the best Ruiz we've seen in a while. But my point is that if where's my point? If Whyte fights Ruiz, oh yeah, that's it. If Whyte beats Ruiz next, that's almost like a silver bullet for Whyte. That's almost like a silver bullet because no one can have any excuses. Our American friends, one of whom has just joined us, I'll get to you in a second, YG. Our American friends cannot say. They can't say who was Whyte beat. He would add Ruiz to a very good list that he's got of his victories. And the Deontay Wilder supporters cannot dismiss him any further. If he were to beat Ruiz, that would be like a silver bullet. Big boys boxing.
And coincidentally, Ruiz is one of the guys that Deontay Wilder has avoided his whole career. Why is that?
Yeah, I think Ruiz is a tough guy to beat. It's a tough guy. It's no walk in the park, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I've said it before too. I think you just touched on it there. We're not expecting much from Ruiz after his last performance and how he prepared for the fight and whatnot. But I have said it before. It could have been the kick in the pants that he needed. And like you said, we could end up seeing the best Ruiz we've ever seen in the next fight, which could be very dangerous for Dillian.
Yeah, absolutely. But if Dillian beats him, then what message does that send out, big boys?
Well, he's pretty much already proven he's an elite heavyweight. I know there's going to be the doubters that will say, "Oh, he's just beating another fat slob," but
realistically, from an objective,
an objective point of view, he was a three belt unified world champion not so long ago.
Yeah.
So it bodes really well for Dillian, as to a resume that's pretty strong as it is, and there'll be no denying anybody who's saying Dillian Whyte's a bum if he beats Andrew Ruiz, particularly if Ruiz is in pretty good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. The Watcher.
Yeah. Ruiz, good opponent for Whyte to have. I mean, former world champion. They had all the belts, most of them anyway. I'm just wondering, like, if it happens, like, where they're gonna have it, because I think that will matter as well. Like, where Whyte beats them.
I think the offer is contingent upon it being in the UK.
Yeah, well, I think anyway. I think they want it there. This is sort of like, how I see it, right? Like Dillian, like I reckon ever since that Brown fight, his popularity's just risen. And then with the Parker one, you had a more entertaining fight than AJ did. And then you had another blockbuster with Chisora. And then after AJ lost, I think the UK sort of turned to Dillian because Fury's just nowhere to be seen in the UK training or fighting. So they turned to Dillian. People like Dillian because he comes from Brixton. He comes from that rough part of London.
Yeah.
And they relate to him. So he gets that massive cheer when his name is announced when he's walking out. So that's kind of like the new star there in the UK. It's like the new Joshua almost. I would say Joshua's more popular, but Dillian's just risen as a star there. And for him to beat Ruiz,
Dillian's Dillian. He's not the new Joshua. It's a different.
Yeah, I know, but like,
but carry on. Yeah,
Dillian Whyte, and he's just become that star there. And him beating Ruiz in style on home turf, it would be huge. It would be great for him.
Absolutely, and I think it would close. Would it close the doors of the naysayers, the Deontay Wilder fans, the naysaying Deontay Wilder fans? Would they be left with any excuses?
What are the Wilder fans saying? What are they saying?
Well, I mean, he's not worthy. Whyte ain't worthy.
Oh, he's worthy. He's been worthy since Parker fight.
Yeah.
He's worthy anyway. I don't know why they're saying that, but he's worthy.
Yeah, he's worthy.
If he does Ruiz a good number on Ruiz, he's got nothing to really prove anyway. But yes, that would add another layer on top to saying, yeah, I'm worthy.
Yeah. Yes. So we are joined by YG. YG, come on in. How you doing? How's it over there in America?
What's going on, people? How y'all doing out there?
Man.
It's all good over here. We can't complain.
Yeah, for real. Good of you to join us once again, becoming a regular up in the place, which is good, which is very good indeed to have an American perspective. Always welcome.
I'm just surprised that we talking about Dillian Whyte fighting Luis, so we should be talking about him fighting for either the WBO title or getting in line for the WBA title. Why is he fighting Luis for?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good question. Big Boys Boxing came with a good point on the last on my video for the Ruiz for the what do you call it? The
mandatories.
Yeah, the mandatories. Take it away. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Parker versus Usyk fight. And the question was, why can't Dillian Whyte fight? Why is Dillian Whyte's name not in the hat? Take it away, Big Boys Boxing. Give him the
Dillian Whyte is mandatory for the WBC, right? He can't be ranked in any other governing body, full stop. So unless he gets a voluntary challenge against a champion that's not WBC, that's the only way he's going to get a title shot. Even if he was to fight Usyk, he can't be mandatory for two governing bodies. One of them would drop him, you see. It's just how it works.
I thought the WBO only dropped him once he had the urine issue.
He did, but since then he's been reinstated as the mandatory, so that's why he's not in the rankings for the WBO. It's not because of his drug issue that he had. Initially, they dropped him out because of that, but
and he hasn't fought anybody since. So after he fight, he'll be back in the rankings.
No, because he's been declared official mandatory for the WBC. You can't be dual mandatory. Doesn't work like that. I thought Alexander Povetkin used to be a dual mandatory when he was with the WBA and the WBO, but the WBO dropped him as the mandatory because he became mandatory for the WBA.
And another thing about that too is that most of that time when he was the mandatory for Wilder, he was calling out Anthony Joshua. He wasn't really thinking about fighting Wilder because he was mad at Joshua, saying that Joshua, yo, you chasing Wilder around. I'm not holding on my career. Like, are you gonna fight me or not?
Yeah. I can understand Povetkin's position. He wanted a voluntary for a bigger money fight. So it's just good business, I guess.
Like, cause the April 13th date that they had, they was trying to get Dillian Whyte to take that fight. Like, majority of the time he's been the number one contender. He was chasing the other titles. He wasn't chasing the fight Wilder.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
That's his own. That's it from his own words. When he was in the ring after the what you call a fight, and Joshua got on the ring apron because they didn't let him inside the ring, and Joshua asked the crowd, like, do y'all want me to fight Dillian next? Like, if I beat him next, I don't want to hear nothing. Like, this is the fight y'all want. And then Dillian was in the ring and he said, like, yo, come on, let's make the fight. I'm not holding up my career while you chase that man.
Yeah, I'm not disputing any of that, bro. I'm not, but you said that he wasn't interested. You said he wasn't interested in Wilder. That's what I'm disputing.
Meaning, like, he was basically calling out Joshua. Calling out Joshua the whole time. He wasn't calling out for his title shot. Like, even though I guess if they say it behind the scenes, he wasn't doing that out front. It's the same thing like Jaime Munguia when I was telling you the other day. Jaime Munguia is Demetri Andrade's number one contender. But after his fight, he's calling out Triple G, Canelo, and Charlo. How you not calling out your mandatory? The guy that you're mandatory to fight, you're his one challenger. Like, why?
No, I have to disagree with you. He's been calling out Deontay Wilder. It's been big news. Maybe you're in America. Maybe there's a report. Maybe there's reporting restrictions. Maybe there's reporting restrictions in America, but over here, there's no reporting restrictions. Well, not to that extent. So it's been very clear over here that Dillian Whyte has frequently been calling out Deontay. Well, he calls him Docante.
Right, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Tell me what fight after what Dillian Whyte fight did he stand in the ring and say he won Deontay Wilder next?
Lucas Brown.
It was the
Let's go, baby.
That's the only one where he actually directly said he wanted Wilder. I'm just saying.
When Whyte said at the end of the fight when he's sitting at the side, I'm ready. Who was he talking about? I can't remember.
I thought he was still talking to Joshua because that's who he been.
No, he's still talking about Wilder.
Oh,
wow. Talking about Wilder.
That's what I thought. I'm ready. I'm ready.
What fight was that after?
He said, "Let's go, Deontay." That's what he said.
Yeah, let's go, Deontay. Let's go, Deontay.
After what fight was that?
Lucas Brown.
And how many fights ago was that?
About 5.
March 2018.
That's what I'm telling y'all, fellas. Like, that was like what, 4 years ago?
Dillian Whyte is a regular fighter, bro. So
2018,
that's what I'm saying. He didn't call him out after the Teixeira fight. He
bro,
didn't call him out after the Rivas fight.
Bro, it's been all over the press. It's been all over the press. Deontay Wilder ducking Dillian Whyte. Did you not see the zone? Have you got the zone? Did you not see Barack and the other guy? Did you not see them sitting down with Dillian Whyte? Did you not see Dillian Whyte pulling out his phone and showing you the text message from Deontay Wilder saying I'm gonna freeze you out for 2 years?
That's what Wilder told him.
You didn't see that?
Nah, I didn't see that video of him showing his phone.
Bro, they got press. They must have a press blackout in the USA when it comes to this news, because it was all over the press. Dillian White showing the text from Deontay Wilder saying, "I'm going to freeze you out for 2 years." But it seems they're not reporting things over there in the USA. Seems like they're keeping you guys in the dark. That's interesting.
I mean, who was he? What outlet was he talking to?
DAZN, my friend, DAZN. We don't get it. You get it, but we still saw the clip.
I didn't. That was just me though. I just didn't watch the Dillian White interview.
He was all over the press, bro. It was all over the press. But you know what? Cristiano Wu brings up an interesting point. What does he say? If Whyte is trying to, I think Cristiano Wu is an American fellow also. He says if Whyte is trying to impress Wilder, I'm not even going to address why we try to impress Wilder. Wilder's not an emperor. But anyway, if Whyte is trying to impress Wilder, shouldn't Whyte fight Ortiz, not Ruiz? Now there's some backwards thinking, if ever I saw it.
Another man who's frankly called out Whyte.
Should Whyte shouldn't Whyte fight Ortiz, not Ruiz? What the hell? That's some backward thinking. But I suppose Ruiz is the easier opponent.
How so? Luis Ortiz has never won a championship. Amateurs, pros, full stop.
Damn.
Andy Ruiz has just been a 3-belt unified world champion less than 6 months ago.
Lord.
I mean, but that's the only reason why he was ever ranked high. He was never, which Andy Ruiz is only ranked higher than him when he won the titles. If it wasn't for that, he would never have been ranked higher than Ruiz.
You ever wondered why Andy Ruiz never got good fights?
Mm-hmm.
How he not got good fights? He fought Parker. He had good fights. What are you talking about?
He's had one good fight.
Yeah,
it was for a world title.
And how many good people have Ortiz fought? He just fought Wilder.
Yeah. Who else?
If you really look at it, like
who else?
Like sometimes y'all gotta look at it at both sides of the coin. When y'all say like,
who else? Who else though? Who else?
Who else is who fought?
Wilder. I mean Ortiz.
That's what I like. Yeah, whatever top ranked fighters he fought.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Who else?
No, that was my point. Are you making the same point as me? I'm saying it's like, yo, like you can't say, what you call it, when they both really the same guy. Like won the title one time.
But but the right Cristiano Wu is saying that Ruiz is the easier opponent.
That Andy Ruiz is the easier opponent, right?
Yeah, that's what Cristiano Wu is saying.
Yeah.
So you said who was Ruiz fought? And my response is, well, Josh is fought Joshua, and before that, years before that, Parker. And I threw your question after I answered your question. I threw your question back to you. Who has Ortiz fought? Ruiz has fought Parker and Joshua, at the very least. Now, my question back to you is, who the hell has Ortiz fought?
Well, you saying who is he fought to have that ranking?
Yeah, who's he fought? What's his best win?
I can't tell you what's his best win.
Brian Jennings, I'll tell you.
I can't. I was thinking Brian, but like that's not a over the top win to me either.
That's not an over the top win. No, that's his best. But it ain't no over the top win. So but you asked the question, bro. But that was the question back to you. That was your same question back. Who's tapping?
Ortiz is more sturdy, and he's been calling out Dillian. It's not like like that's just he want that fight. He's been calling out Dillian.
He don't want that fight. What evidence do we have to suggest that he wants to fight? He said he wanted. Hold on, I'm going to mute you because I think noise is coming from your end. Yeah, it was you. No, just some tapping sound. But anyway, yeah. So he says he wants. He said he wants Dillian. He said he wanted Joshua. He got the $7 million offer. Turned it down. But I want to go back to the question: if Whyte is trying to impress Wilder, shouldn't Whyte fight Ortiz? How backwards is that? How does that progress Whyte in the rankings? How does he? Well, he can't get no higher in the WBC. But overall, in general, how does that progress him? That's not progression. That's regression.
Yeah, well, looking at it, you gotta say a guy who's won a world title and been in 3 world title fights has got to be a better pick than a guy who's been in 2 world title fights and got knocked out both times.
It seems
Plus he's
so
40.
obvious. It seems so obvious. I mean, yeah, but apparently not. The watcher.
Just take the Ruiz fight. Since Dillian never wanted Ortiz anyway. You guys are right about the world title thing. Like Ruiz won 1 and he's lost 2. He lost against Parker and he lost against Joshua in the rematch, and he won on June 1st against Joshua, whereas Ortiz has lost twice to Wilder. So again, I think definitely more people know Ruiz. Pick that one and stay away from Ortiz. It's simple. Pick Ruiz.
Why should he stay away from Ortiz?
Why should he stay away from Ortiz?
Yeah.
Oh, not a good fight for Dillian.
Why?
And it's like you said, regression, right? Yeah. Even though if he beat Ortiz, Wilder would probably be like Wilder's got to fight Dillian anyway. But I think maybe that would be like, oh shit, Dillian beat Ortiz. Ortiz, was beating me for a bit, So I think that will get Wilder's attention.
Well, look at the flack that Wilder. Look at the flack that Wilder has caught for fighting Ortiz twice. The only people who think that it was a good choice are hard out Wilder fanboys. Everyone else is going, yeah, you beat a 40-year-old who's never won anything in his life. And does Dillian want that kind of critique after beating the same guy? I doubt it.
He'd get credit though. He'd get credit. Dylan would get credit.
Credit?
Oh yeah,
credit from the Wilder fans.
Yeah, I don't think he get. I mean, he would get some credit. I mean, it's a top 10 win, yeah. So every top 10 win is some credit, but optimal credit, I don't think so. James, how you doing?
Hello, does this work?
It's working, my friend. I can hear you and I can see you.
You see me?
Nah, carry on. Just kidding.
I don't know. No, I try and on my phone and see what's happening. I'm away at the moment.
You're away. Where are you?
I'm my granddad's.
Jerry.
It's quite away. It's quite away, as you can tell.
Okay, so what's the question? The question is, as on the screen, if Whyte is trying to impress Wilder, shouldn't he be fighting Ortiz, not Ruiz? But I suppose Ruiz is the easier opponent.
See, I've always been very much with it. I love how I think it's impressive. I don't think I love it, but I think it's impressive how Wilder has not fought Dillian Whyte yet. I think it's really impressive.
What's impressive about it?
The fact that he hasn't fought him yet.
The fact that he's knocked him. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, mate.
Yeah.
It's mandatory for the last 2 years, 3 years. Impressive. The fact you don't want to fight the guy so much, and you're still
Mando since July.
July. Which year?
16, probably 17, something like that.
No,
2019.
Watch us coming with some slick maneuver. Trust me, I know it. I sense it. Trust me. 19. Nah, he's been the number one. Well, let me recouch it because you're all using the technicality watcher, and it's good. It's slick. I like it. But let me erase that technicality. So he's been number one ranked WBC for who's gone? Who the hell's gone? Who's dropped off? Damn, it's the Watcher. Yeah, he's been number one ranked in the WBC for 2 years. 2 years. Now that's ducking. Back to Will. Back to James. Sorry, back to James.
Yeah, I think it's impressive. But it won't matter really, because when Wilder loses, it'll be a completely different conversation.
When Wilder loses to
Tyson Fury.
To Tyson Fury, it's going to be a different conversation. So YG, you're back. Yeah. So to address the question, I don't know if you've addressed the question yet. Let's be clear. Nobody.
To be clear, I think he should not fight Ortiz, because that's just like you should never give in, really, should you?
Yeah.
It's like giving in to the bully saying, "I'll punch yourself in the face, punch yourself in the face." You know what? Just to leave him up, just to give him something. I'm going to punch myself in the face. Don't do it. Don't be an idiot.
Don't do it. So YG, excuse me, YG. Yeah, your answer to the question. I've moved the damn question. So yeah, just answer the question, my friend. Go ahead.
I mean, either way, he could take the fight, even though that would probably push his fight date back, like y'all said. Because Andy Luis just fought, and he's not gonna be ready to fight till maybe June. So equal date.
Yeah, Watcher has had to. The Watcher has had to leave. Thanks for jumping in, the Watcher. Thanks for jumping in. Carry on, YG.
But now that's it. I was just saying he could take the fight, but I think he just gonna have to push his fight date back, because I don't know about no April. Andy Luis just fought.
April. Okay. Andy Ruiz just fought, so he's not going to be ready. Okay, that's the answer. Okay, that's fine. Now, another one from Cristiano Wu. Let's be clear, though. Nobody thinks Dope Fiend. Nobody thinks Dope Fiend Whyte stands a chance against Wilder. Well, Cristiano, this is the beautiful thing about the show. We have multiple different people. You just said nobody. Nobody. We have multiple different people who can and will give their opinion. You can't give their opinion on their behalf. That's a beautiful thing, ain't it? You get to hear people say what they think rather than you trying to tell them what they think. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Isn't that a beautiful thing? Let's be clear, though. Nobody thinks Dope Fiend Whyte stands a chance against Wilder. All right, let me address the first part of that. So, I don't think Dillian has any drug convictions. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, does. Dope, yeah, does have a drug conviction, at least one. Okay. I'm not going to go into the strangulation issue, domestic abuse issue where he got locked up for the weekend and then had to pay restitution. I'm not going to even get into that. I'm not going to get into the domestic abuse case. Conviction. Okay? And the second part. Whyte is simply there to buy AJ more time. Yeah, I think I'm not even gonna address that. That's so ridiculous. Have they got a joint bank account? That's ridiculous. I'm going to go around the table. Big Boys Boxing. You want to touch this?
Yeah, man. No worries. Dillian Whyte does not work for AJ. Full stop. Mm-hmm. He's his own manager and he works with Eddie Hearn. He's not signed to him.
No.
So Dillian's looking out for Dillian. He ain't working for AJ, full stop. And if Dillian Whyte didn't have a chance against Deontay Wilder. Well, how did he obtain a mandatory position then? How did he get that far? You know, he's worked hard to get that spot. He's been through a lot of trouble along the way. Dope fiend my ass. That was proven that there was a contamination. Yes, he got popped for Jamanian route early in his career.
Yep.
And he paid the price for that. He's moved on.
Heavy price.
And yeah, he's earned his shot. So he does have a chance, but I'd like to see the Ruiz fight for him, but I'm not so sure it'll happen, like I said. So maybe it should be just fight Otto Wallen.
Yeah.
He's credible.
Yeah, very credible. I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. The Watcher. Is he the Watcher? The Watcher's gone. We're talking about James. Talking to James. I think it's James who's there. That's James. James? James? James popped off to get some of his nan's sherry. Let's be clear. Nobody thinks Dope Fiend Whyte stands a chance against Wilder. YG, does Whyte stand a chance against Wilder? YG, does Whyte stand a chance against Wilder? Okay, James is back. James, are you with us? James, are you with us? Why?
Dang,
What
panel full of deserters.
what's going on? So I can hear you. You're fine, but I can't hear YG, and I can't hear James. James, are you speaking? I've got a private message. What's going on? My mic won't work. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, James. I don't know what happened, mate. Don't know what happened. Okay, so YG, have you come back? Because we are moving on. We're moving on. Okay, so I'm going to get into the chat before we switch topics. I think that one is chopped and diced. Damn, is YG having problems with his James?
All right, it should be working now.
Okay,
right.
What happened? Yeah, I can hear you. What happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't know. It says that mobile support is very experimental, so I'm guessing it probably is.
Okay, so yeah, your view on the last
what was the question saying about like
on the screen? Let's be clear. Nobody thinks Dope Fiend Whyte stands a chance against Wilder. Whyte is simply there to buy AJ more time. So I guess the question out there is, do you think Whyte stands a chance against Wilder?
I think it's definitely Dillian Whyte stands to get a chance against Wilder, just like any other boxer stands to get a chance against Wilder.
Yeah.
You know, it's heavyweight boxing. There's many times people can say it, but and the way he fights, he's not a fighter where he can be hit by a stray punch, and he probably can be knocked down.
Yeah. Who are we talking about?
Wilder.
Yeah.
So Dillian Whyte is exactly the same. You know, he's been knocked down currently in his career.
Yeah, he's been knocked out.
But saying no one thinks he can beat him is just silly, really. That's
patently ridiculous.
Even if it was 100%,
yeah,
there'd still be a 1% that say he's still beat him. And that's how the world works. So
that's how the world works. That's how maths work. Basic maths. You know what I'm saying?
But saying he's just there to buy AJ more time is absolutely silliness. You know, Wilder has just signed the contract for 2 more fights to Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
And then so who's he buying time for signing them 2 fights then? I don't understand what this guy really thinks.
It is madness.
It doesn't really make much sense.
Don't make much sense, Cristiano Wu. Don't make much sense. Cristiano.
I'd like to come on, and he should come on and explain, elaborate on it.
That's a great idea. Link is in the chat. Cristiano Wu. Link is in the chat. YG.
Yeah, can
You
you hear
could
me?
flip the script on that too and say, well, the WB Cancer have bought Deontay Wilder a hell of a lot of time too, haven't they? Putting that mandatory
2
off
years
until
worth.
2021.
OMG.
I mean, he would have been
OMG.
if he didn't have that sample problem. He would have got the fight. He would have had Wilder would not have had to fight Ortiz the second time.
No. That was That was already scheduled. Wilder fighting Ortiz the second time. You said no. He told us way
How
out.
was that? Hold
Way
on.
out. He told us he was fighting Ortiz again. And he told us also that he was going to have a trilogy with Fury somewhere along the line. The first fight, we knew it was going to be 2 fights, then it turned into a trilogy. No, he was always going to be a trilogy, I think. No, it was a 1 fight, and then when it was a draw, they said it was going to be at least a rematch, maybe a trilogy. Then it turned out to be a trilogy. So there was no stage where Wilder says, "Yeah, I'll fight Whyte next." At no stage did that ever.
No,
Right.
after if he didn't have that sample, I got the fight.
Yeah,
because he got.
How would you got the fight? How would you have got the fight? How would you got the fight?
I believe he would have got the fight. I think
he's joined, isn't he?
The WBC said that White's mandatory shot would be May this year, prior to the adverse findings in the sample.
May this year, May 20, yeah, May. It hasn't even come yet. It hasn't even come yet, YG.
Exactly.
May hasn't even come yet. May hasn't even.
Y'all missing what I'm trying to say. I'm saying from the momentum that Whyte would have had from that last fight, they would have booked the fight. But since that happened,
No, that's supposition. That's supposition. That's supposition on your part. You're saying that. Wilder's not saying that.
Wilder said he'd freeze him out for 2 years, so why would he all of a sudden want to fight him?
Yeah. What you're saying, YG is supposition.
You're only as good as your last fight.
What you're saying is supposition. What you're saying is your opinion. It doesn't come from Shelly Finkel. It doesn't come from Deontay Wilder. It doesn't come from Al Heyman. It's supposition. You're speaking from a point of supposition. Red Glove Militant is in the building.
What up, Raph?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Doing good. I'm still kind of getting over. But other than that, I'm doing good. But I want to address something that was.
Hey, Raph.
Yeah, go again.
Sorry about that. First, a call came in right when I was talking. I just want to address something real quick that was made in that comment. And then after I address it, I'm going to drop out and try to come back.
Okay. Red Glove Militant signal is not too strong. Dropped off for a second. Hopefully he jumps back in because he wants to say something very, very specific. So hopefully he jumps back in. In the meantime, let's just go to a few of these comments before we go to the next topic. Red Glove Militant, come back in when your signal is good. Anytime you're ready. That's cool. Right. So, I don't know, Christian. Whyte's left hook is legit. And Wilder hasn't, to my knowledge, fought a good pressure fighter. Certainly not a good top-ranked pressure fighter. Certainly not a young one. It's all about shutting down the hype surrounding Ortiz. Ortiz is one of 2 big names on Wilder's resume. The other one, of course, being Tyson Fury. After coming off the couch. Okay, the longer this thing is dragged out, the longer it seems like someone doesn't want that fight for Wilder. 100%. 100 percentile. Red Glove Militant is back with us.
Yeah, my apologies. It always StreamYard always messes.
Do you think Dillian Whyte would have beat Tyson Fury when he first?
YG. Just hold on, my friend. Just hold on. We come back to you in a second. Red Glove Militant.
Yeah. Yeah. My apologies. It's just when somebody calls me when I'm on StreamYard, it always messes it up. And right when I started talking, a call came in.
Boom.
But what I was saying was, I just wanted to address something that was made in that comment.
Yeah.
You know, they said that that Whyte is just there to as a roadblock.
Yeah.
So that AJ doesn't have to fight Wilder. I find that quite funny, being that Wilder is the one who has scheduled the whole year. He doesn't need anybody to protect him from Wilder. Wilder's doing that all on his own.
Yeah.
So what roadblock is Whyte really? So I thought that was pretty funny.
It was kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But Cristiano Wu, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I always welcome your comments, just because I personally might find them sometimes outlandish, crazy, and devoid of logic. It don't mean I don't appreciate you throwing those crazy comments in from time to time. Yeah, but I did think it was crazy. Wilder is the one who's booking himself up. I think it's a blatant duck, and I'm going to have to go around the table. The panelists have their own free will. They speak as they see it. Red Glove Militant's guy's own channel, Big Boys Boxing's guy's own channel. I think YG's got his own channel. I don't know if James, have you got your own channel yet?
So I should get on my own channel one of these days. Just to plug my channel, really.
So all of these people you see before you, they are free men and they have free will. They have their own channels for the most part, and they speak their own mind. But I'm going to have to go around the table. Because it's a pertinent question. I'm going to start with Red Glove Militant. Red Glove Militant, do you think that Deontay Wilder is ducking Dillian Whyte?
I do. I think he is ducking Dillian Whyte. You know, it's, you know, and whether you feel that Wilder would beat Whyte, whether you feel in your heart of hearts that you know for a fact that he would beat him, that's irrelevant to the fact that the man has put himself in position to get his title shot. And at the end of the day, we don't know. We have an idea. We have a gauge from previous fights that these guys have been in to kind of gauge whether these guys have a chance or not.
Yeah.
However, you really never truly know. There's guys like Pascal, who we thought his career was done.
Yeah.
We thought that and he's essentially resurrected his own career.
He's come back.
Now we're talking about somebody who is past his prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
38, 34, 38, something like that.
Yeah, he's definitely past his prime.
Yeah.
Now we have Dillian Whyte, who is in his prime. He's only suffered one loss, and that's to Anthony Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a better part of his career than Pascal was when he surprised us with a couple wins that he pulled out of nowhere.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say this: if I were a betting man, I would bet on Deontay Wilder. However, we don't know. We have to see. The fights have to materialize, and that's the thing that really irritates me about this era. People just want to go off of their assumptions. Oh, he doesn't need to fight him. He would beat him anyways. if we had that mentality with Andy Ruiz, we would have never saw that upset.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, you know, in the rematch, it went probably how we thought the first fight should have went. But the reality is this: the fights have to happen. And we're in an era where people will defend why fights shouldn't happen. Exactly, ducking. And it's like, okay, you might be right. Let's see it. Like, let's stop with the debate. You know, we basically have to debate because we don't. It's the closest thing we're going to get to these fights materializing a lot of times.
We have to talk about fights because the ducking. The duck is preventing the fights.
I know I went a little bit off on a little rant, but that's how I feel about the situation.
No, that wasn't a rant. That was good. That was good. That was good. That was good. Big Boys Boxing. Do you feel Wilder or his organization is ducking Whyte? And
He's
why?
been ducking Whyte. He's
And
been
why?
ducking Whyte for 2 years. He said so himself in that text message. He's going to freeze him out. And it points the finger for me to Wilder's resume. Why is it the closest thing to a puncher he's ever fought is Luis Ortiz, who's predominantly a counter puncher, and he's 40 years old, past his prime. You know, like I pointed out earlier, there's guys in the States that Deontay Wilder hasn't gone near, like Andy Ruiz, like Jarrell Miller.
Yeah.
He stayed away from these guys. And someone who's a little bit like Jarrell Miller is Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
You know, similar size, big reach, throws a lot of punches. Granted, Miller doesn't hit as hard, but it's a similar sort of fighter, and those are the types of fighters Deontay Wilder avoids. His matchmakers know very well why. So if he wants to prove us wrong, he should just fight Whyte, get it done with. Show us that you can beat him so easily, like you've been talking about for years.
Yeah.
It's not a fight that shouldn't happen. A fight that shouldn't have happened was Wilder versus Stavern 2.
Yeah.
A fight that shouldn't have happened was Dominic Breazeale versus Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
Those are fights that shouldn't have happened.
And before anybody pipes up, Breazeale was a mandatory. That's a mandatory that should not have happened also.
Exactly why, yeah.
Yeah. James, who's dropped off again?
Hello, is it working again?
Yeah, you're good, James. Is Deontay Wilder ducking Whyte?
Yeah. And that's a very hard question to answer.
Well, it can
Truly,
be.
though, truly, it's hard to answer because we don't know. We can't look into Deontay Wilder's head.
No,
we can't look
can
into
surmise.
Dillian Whyte's head.
No, but we can surmise.
But we can see his actions, and his actions really do paint the picture. They say actions speak louder than words, and I think his actions have really said that he's a quacking on a pond. You know, on a frozen pond. You know, he loves it.
Frozen pond.
And that's the way I see it. You know, and when Dillian Whyte cracks that pond with that left hook,
oh damn,
that'll be the day.
Damn,
but we won't see it because he'll retire because Tyson Fury's gonna beat him twice.
Damn, YG. Yeah, man, you sound like you're rustling a bag of Maltesers. YG.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of crackling, but okay, you're good now. No, we're not good. But anyway.
Yeah, I hate the streaming service, man. It's like, I don't know why they keep doing it.
Okay. But anyway.
The other guy when he was.
Yeah, but anyway, is Deontay Wilder ducking Dillian Whyte?
No. How could you be ducking somebody when you've been fighting competition better than him?
Luis Ortiz's resume doesn't touch.
I don't care. Yeah, Dillian Whyte had
Whyte's resume.
Dillian Whyte had fought better people than Ortiz, but he's not better than Ortiz.
Well, Dillian Whyte has fought better people than Ortiz and fought better people than Ortiz has beat.
But he's not better than him though.
Well, how can you say that? On what basis is he not better than him?
I say that skill wise. I say that's how he throws his punches, all of that. Like he's a better boxer than Dillian Whyte. And I definitely know you agree that Tyson Fury's better than Dillian Whyte.
Yeah,
I know we agree on that, right?
We agree. Yeah, we agree. We definitely agree on that.
Earlier, you said, he fought Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury.
Okay. You know what, YG, your reception's bad, mate. Your reception's bad. People are just hearing the crackling. We're just hearing crackling from you now. So that's gonna be bad for the show. if there's a whole segment where people don't know what the hell you're saying, bro. Who else? I think I've gone all around the horn. Who's this here? The Watcher. Oh, the Watcher's back. The Watcher's back. So the Watcher is Deontay Wilder ducking Dillian Whyte.
No.
Deontay Wilder is not ducking Dillian Whyte. Okay, kindly expand.
Can't expand. Actually, I want you to give me the floor because I want you or anyone here to explain how.
The floor is yours.
Floor is mine.
Yeah, you said
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's just see who Dillian Whyte has beat. Okay. Because in order to get that number one spot. Okay. And this can apply to Wilder. Okay. Because Wilder didn't fight anyone really to get his title shot. True. So that's fair. Okay. Yeah. Now we're going by WBC rankings. We're not going by consensus because consensus is definitely objective at times, you know?
Okay.
We will most definitely go through WBC. So the first name.
I see where you're going, but carry on.
Well, maybe you'll see. Okay?
Maybe. Okay, carry on.
Don't worry about that.
The floor is yours.
So he fought Joshua, and he looked like a whale out of water in that fight. So he lost that one. Okay. Then he fought Chisora.
You wobbled Joshua, but carry on.
He did. That's why I want to see the rematch. But anyway, you got Chisora. Okay, in the first fight, war. Okay, very close fight.
War Chisora.
So Chisora at that time, right? Number 14, WBC. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Then he fought Malcolm Tan. Malcolm Tan's unranked at that time. Hellenius, number 23, and then moved up to number 16. Okay. Lucas Brown, number 13. Okay. Now, after he beat number 13, so he's beaten number 14, and Hellenius number 23, but they moved him up to number 16 and number 13. Okay. And Dillian Whyte is screaming Wilder's name. Okay. So after beating all those three, he's number one in the WBC. I'd love to know how he ended up being number one from beating guys that weren't even in the top 10.
Okay. So if you're questioning why Whyte was my immediate and easy response to you is if you're questioning why Whyte was number one, then I would say, well, who did Breezel beat to be number two?
Exactly. And that is what is fair. So Brazil has not fought people like Dillian Whyte. Now, I will say this. Out of everyone that has and wanted to face Wilder, Whyte deserves it the most. Okay? Now, Molina was number 12 in the WBC. Okay? And Brazil, I don't know where he was ranked at that time, but that is the one the WBC somehow ordered. Yeah. And Brazil went through with it.
Yeah.
So he beat Molina for it.
Yeah.
So in saying that,
they didn't actually order it. They let them have a fight, and then after the fact, they called it a final eliminator.
Yes.
After the fact. Yeah. That's true. That's true. That's true.
Yes, the WBC are strange in that. So that is the question that I've answered from you, Raphie.
What?
I answered your question.
You answered my question?
Yeah.
What was my question?
Who Brazil beat? He's beaten Molina, and that's it. He hasn't beaten anyone else.
Okay.
Molina not even top 10. So that's why that is strange.
He beat Amir Mansour, who was in the rankings when he beat him.
I don't know where Mansour was ranked.
He was about 13 at the time.
13?
Something like that.
Something like that.
But that was a long time before.
Yeah.
That was a long time before. Well, there you go.
So my question to you, Watcher, if not Whyte at number one in the WBC rankings, who do you think it should have been?
Well, honestly, I can't dispute. You do realize I'm not disputing that Whyte shouldn't have been number one.
No, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing, bro. So I don't know. I don't know what your angle is.
No, I'm just saying this narrative that Whyte deserves it. Whyte deserved it when he probably beat Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because Parker was like number 6 in WBC and he just fought Joshua, so he was up there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But let's see what Wilder's done, because people have come out with this thing of the text message that Wilder sent.
Yeah.
Dillian Whyte.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I've looked at that picture, right? And I can't see the freaking text. Like you can't see it. Can you see it? Can you see what he's written?
Do we have a screenshot? I think I've seen a screenshot. I don't have a screenshot. I'll be
back in a sec.
Okay. So we have to press on. We have to press on. We talked about Whyte. I mean, obviously it's an interesting topic, or else we wouldn't have been here with it for as long as we've been with it. It is an interesting topic, and I could go longer with it, but I've got a topic sheet. It's clearly.
That's fine.
No, hold on. Are you still? Oh, if you're back, then we carry on. If you're back, I thought you were going to be away for a while, but if you're here, then we carry on with it. So yeah, go where you're going, Watcher. Go where you're going.
I just want to go over this text.
Okay.
That Dillian, because. Okay. Yeah, I can't see that at all. I mean, I'm looking at this picture.
You're questioning, if I short circuit, you're questioning the validity of the text. You're questioning the text in the text. And
I am questioning it. I really am.
If that is the case, then what I can do for a future show is find the text and bring it up, and we can continue the discussion, because I think the discussion needs to be continued.
We should, yes.
And we will do that. But at the moment, I think we've pretty much gone pretty deep down the rabbit hole on this one. I am satisfied that when I listen back to it, it will be thorough and comprehensive. Another strand is the text messages. We can deal with that in the next show. But for now, there's too much to talk about. We're gonna have to go. Joseph Parker. And I'll lead off. Joseph David Higgins is off his head. David Higgins is off his head. That's my opening line title to this piece. I understand David Higgins. What did David Higgins say? What did David Higgins say to make me say he's off his head? Okay. David Higgins said, and we did this in the last show, but there's certain elements that we missed out. And so I just want to make sure that we have covered it thoroughly and comprehensively. Okay, certain elements that were missing last time around. And also we have Big Boys Boxing, who himself is a New Zealander. And so has been paying close attention to Joseph Parker for a long time. Okay, so I'll say this. David Higgins has succeeded in bringing the issue of the 70-30, the purse split. He's succeeded in bringing that to public attention. However, Joseph Parker, it is my contention that Joseph Parker wasn't in the title picture. And with this WBO situation playing out as it's played, Joshua may not be able to negotiate with the WBO to stave off some time. I think he's got he might not be able to successfully stave them off so that he can fight Poodle first and Alexander Usyk later on in the year. He may be successful and he may not, but in the event that he's not successful, then the WBO will be looking to put somebody, obviously, they'll be looking for someone to put in a title fight with Alexander Usyk. But let's remember, it's going to be a big money fight with Joshua for Alexander Usyk than with anyone else that I can think of. So I still think he may hold off. Alexander Usyk may hold off, but if he doesn't, then it looks like Joseph Parker would be the next guy in line. David Higgins comes out with a preemptive strike. Put the money up. 70-30 split, 70 for Usyk and 30 for my guy. No way, Jose. Should be the other way around. Now I say it's crazy. Parker wasn't in title contention. Now he is. If Joshua doesn't resolve, if the Joshua can't come to some arrangement with the WBO, now Joseph Parker is in the picture. He's in a great position. He can negotiate a little bit up. He can go up to maybe 35%, maybe 40%. But I don't know how helpful David Higgins' statement has been. Big boys boxing.
Mr. David Higgins, the weirdo. Well, I can see what he was trying to do with that statement, but I think the number he's dropped is a big red flag for Usyk's team. You know, when you start a negotiation, if you get in early, you start at a higher number and possibly you're going to take a much lower number. But throwing 70% out there and saying that Usyk only deserves 30% to me is crazy and probably damaging. Why I say a red flag for Usyk's team is if they see that number in the article, they could quite possibly think to themselves, if the bout does get vacated, screw this clown, we'll just go to purse bid and get 60% and he can have his 40. I think David Higgins would have been better off talking to Eddie and the Usyk promoter. I can't remember his name. It's a mouthful. Behind closed doors and tried to get 50% just straight off the bat and maybe work off that. Because if it does go to purse bid, Joe's not going to get 50%. And David Higgins can blame himself for that. I've got to give the guy credit for being willing to throw himself under the bus for his fighter, but you got to go about it the right way. Otherwise, you're going to do more damage than good. I think that's what he's done. Yes, because it's opened up Parker's side to kind of ridicule because it's ridiculous. Exactly. It's ridiculous. Where are we going? We're going to James.
Yeah, I just think it's a businessman saying businessman type things. He's just putting a number out there, trying to get as much money as possible. Because behind the scenes, it's all different to what he posts out there. He's probably going out and looking for that 50-50 as much as he's looking for that 70-30. He's probably just going for a 50-50 or whatever. He probably just wants the world title fight as much as anything because Joseph Parker, you know, I've always questioned, is he a top class athlete? So would he get much other chances? Like, who knows? So he will take this chance more than likely in there. So I think this fight will happen. And I think the 70-30 is not very realistic. No, but it probably will. It definitely will happen, I think.
Okay. Just questions come to me. Big boys boxing. If they were stuck at 70-30, should Joseph Parker take the fight at 30%? Well, in his situation, you're his manager. In his situation, he should be taking what he can get. If he's only going to be offered 30%, then I would, if I was in David Higgins' position, I'd take it to purse bid and go for 40%. Yeah, because I think that's what the WBO would stipulate if a purse bid was, set. They generally have the higher ranked guy at 60% and the next guy down at 40, depending on how low the next guy down is. If Joseph Parker was ranked at number 5 and he's still got the call up, he'd probably get stipulated to receive 30% or 25%. So I think it's going to be a split somewhere between 60-40 and 50-50, somewhere there. I think 70-30 either way
is a bit ridiculous for both guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, James, the Watcher.
Higgins always talks shit. You know what? I have a little bit of respect for Usyk, just a little bit, because you have to understand what he's done in the cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
Not just there, but because very few have done what he's done at cruiserweight, but also just for boxing as a whole. That Usyk, he's such a big draw. Like when he fought Chas Witherspoon, all those Ukrainians turned up, like about 9,000 in that attendance. I don't know exactly, but that's a number I heard.
Yeah.
Against Bellew, he was getting cheers. You know, all around the world, even in Russia, he was getting cheers. Like, he is a draw. Okay, Parker is also a draw. Before the Whyte fight, you can just tell the crowd they cheered him on. You know, even in Wales, he was getting, you know, some cheers, mostly boos. But the point is that Usyk is just a bigger draw, period. He's a bigger name, despite just moving up. I think that with the 70-30 thing, if Parker was at 30, I don't think he should take it.
Right.
But Usyk being at 30 is ridiculous. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we've chopped that up. Me, I think they can negotiate up. They can get it up to 40% for Parker, and I think that's realistic. That's realistic. But me, I'm his manager. Anywhere in the 35 to 40% region, and I'm saying go ahead, because Parker wasn't near to a title shot before. So this could be a blessing. This could be a blessing for Parker, and they have an expression: don't look a gift horse in the mouth. But you can have a little glance. You can have a little glance and push it up to 40, and the fight is on and popping. But this is a golden opportunity for Parker. It's a golden opportunity for Parker, and you best be careful. Best be careful with negotiations. Okay, so we've managed to fly through that one. Anybody with anything to add on that before we move on to the next topic?
I think there's still a lot to be determined with that belt possibly being vacated and who may be up for it. I did see an article yesterday that Usyk is looking to fight in March or April. So Joseph Parker has a confirmed date for a fight on February 29th in the States.
Good point.
Now, if he signs for that fight, and then the WBO orders the vacation, then Joseph Parker is no longer available because he's busy. So Adam Kovnarski might get the call up at number 3 in the WBO, and that is not what Eddie Hearn wants.
No,
because if by chance Usyk loses that fight, the belt goes to the BBC.
Yeah.
You know, and you mentioned earlier about Usyk possibly wanting to wait and fight Joshua. I can't see that personally because I think Usyk beats Parker. I think Usyk thinks he can beat Parker.
Right.
And if he gets hold of that belt, then he still gets the Joshua fight not far down the track anyway, doesn't he? And it's even bigger if he's got a belt.
Yeah.
So
good point. Good point.
A lot is depending on the WBO's decision at the moment. And I do think the vacation will happen because if Pulev and Joshua were trying to schedule their fight in the first quarter of the year, as in before the end of March, I think the WBO would be a bit more accommodating because they would get their mandatory fulfilled by mid-year sometime. But Joshua and Pulev are looking at fighting in April. I think that's a bit late. So I think they are going to push for the vacation or the strippage.
Okay. And I might as well just go around the table. I'll start with the Watcher. Who do you think wins in a fight between Alexander Usyk and Joseph Parker?
I'm going with Parker. Do you want me to explain why?
Yeah.
So Parker has the speed to match Usyk's combinations and hand speed.
Mm-hmm.
Parker has fought big punchers such as Ruiz, Joshua Whyte. Alex Leopai is also quite big. So physically, I don't think Usyk can actually do anything to really intimidate or outlast Joe. Joe's got good stamina. Even though he did slow in the Whyte fight, he does have good stamina.
Yeah.
I think Parker's got a good jab. I think he's got more power than Usyk. He dropped Whyte. He's got a fair few knockouts. I think his footwork is good. I think his chin is good. I think his head movement has improved a bit. I think he's going to be more physical than Usyk. Usyk he will have success in the fight, but I think Parker will be a bit too dog for him. I think his will has changed. So I'm going with Parker.
Okay. Big boys boxing. Big boys boxing. Are you with us? We slipped away for a couple of seconds. Okay, let's go to James.
Yeah, I think that's 100% Alexander Usyk win. I think it's a world-class athlete versus, I was saying, Usyk's the world-class athlete, and then you've got Joseph Parker. He's proved himself to be, against Anthony Joshua.
Yeah,
he wasn't there for 12 rounds, and against Dillian Whyte, he wasn't there for 11 rounds. He's not the most agile of people. When you got someone like Alexander Usyk, the way that Usyk is going to fight it, he's just going to be on the outside, just trying to pitter patter around him and just tap him in the face a few times. Loosen him up, go for the late stoppage or the points win. Parker can't handle that realistically, can he? If you think about the kind of fighter he is, Parker cannot handle. He won't be able to handle It's the opposite. The physicality of Usyk is the pure stamina and the will. And that's why I see Joseph Parker faltering.
Okay. So big boys boxing. Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. Who do you pick for the win? For the win, Joseph Parker or Alexander Usyk?
I'm actually picking Usyk by a points decision, but in saying that, I don't have any confidence whatsoever in that pick. I think it's 55-45 fight in favor of Usyk. I disagree somewhat with, was it James was just saying? There's parts of Joseph's career where there has been dog. If you look up a fight between Parker and Afa Tatupu, you'll see exactly what I mean. But being not there for 11 rounds against Whyte, he won the first two before he got a head clash.
Joshua.
And then came back on. So that was a controversial fight. The fight against AJ, I do agree. He just wasn't there. He wanted to survive. It didn't go his way, and he didn't have a plan B. But against Usyk, there is a little bit of a speed difference. I think Usyk is still faster. He has the better footwork, but Joe has advantages with power, reach, a little bit of height.
Yeah.
And combination power punching, which Usyk doesn't do a lot of. He throws a lot of pepper punches. And they ain't gonna hurt Joe straight up. They're not gonna hurt him. But there's some other things that are coming up from the last fight too. Usyk said he needs to put on more weight for the bigger boys. Yeah. So is that going to affect his stamina or his volume? Quite possibly. If Joseph's in very good shape, he can put out decent volume of punches for 12 rounds. So for me, it's a very tough pick. It's a fight I really want to see. It's a fight I've wanted to see for a few years now. You know, I've always known that Usyk was going to move up to heavyweight eventually, and I thought someone of similar size would be great. And I think Parker fits the bill. But I can't back my man at this point to win the fight due to his last few performances, you know. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. I'm just looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I suppose I got to make my pick now. Always very difficult. Very difficult. I don't think it's a given that Usyk. I think the general consensus hasn't been the consensus on the panel, but the general consensus out there appears to be that Usyk beats Parker. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. I think Parker is a tough cookie. Yes, Usyk is the favorite. I acknowledge that. I just think that Parker can summon the dog. Yeah, let me put it this way. If Parker can summon up the dog, if Parker can go and have a ritualistic go back for a holiday in Samoa. Go back for a holiday in Samoa. Go and sit down with the village chieftain. You know, get a little bit of mysticism involved. You know, get a little bit of mysticism involved. Have some ceremony. Have some village ceremony to bring out the Samoan warrior in him. If Parker can summon the Samoan warrior, the dog, bring out the dog. If Parker comes into that fight with the dog in him, with the dog which he has shown, then I think we might be in for an upset. I'm not really a betting man, but I'll put a tenner. I'm going to put a tenner. Yeah, I'm going to say it here for the first time. I'm going to put a tenner, a speculative tenner on Parker. Shock and awe. Parker. I'm going with Parker. Is anybody else who wants to add anything on that before we move on? Coming towards the latter part to the end of the show. We're over the halfway line. Last quarter. Anybody think that everybody's muted? So I'm going to take that as a no. Let me get through these comments before we go on to probably the last topic. Yeah, Big Boys Boxing.
Sorry for the interruption, mate. I've got a jet, so thank you very much for having me on, and peace to everybody.
Excellent. Hey, thanks for coming on Big Boys Boxing.
Yeah, see you, Big Boys Boxing.
See you, lads.
See ya.
Take care. Big Boys Boxing's got his own channel. For sure. Check him out. Okay. Right, where are we? We're on the last thing now, on the last leg of the tour. Where are these final comments? Let me see. We still have to see how Usyk does with a live body at heavyweight. Parker is a great test, 100%, 100. I'm putting my money on the upset. I know it's an outside bet. but I'm still putting my money on the upset. I think like I said, if Parker can find, where is it? We was having some fun earlier on.
I don't think it's that outside though, because I think it's very reasonable that Parker wins. Because you've even heard it here that like it's not a straight like a Joshua Ruiz type deal.
Yeah,
you know, you could definitely see one or the other coming away with the win. Yeah,
100.
It's one of those things. So
100%. 100%. Okay. Okay. So let me stop that. How do I stop that? Okay. Boom. Boom. It doesn't stop. What's going on? I'm trapped. I'm caught in a trap. Okay. There we go. Okay. And who are we going to next? Usyk has fought at heavyweight in the World Series of Boxing. He beat Joyce amongst others. Yeah. He has fought at heavyweight before. I don't know if he's fought the caliber of Parker at heavyweight before. I'm not sure at all. I can't see Parker beating Usyk. I think there is a bit of underestimating Usyk's power going on. Maybe I am underestimating his power. That's very possible. But you know something? We don't know until it's happened. Don't know until it's happened. Usyk has some pop. I think the question was if he could take the power in the heavyweight division. He's taking the power in the heavyweight division, but at the highest level now. We're talking about the highest level. We're talking about top 10 guys. He ain't fought no top 10 heavyweights yet. Although.
So he did fight Tony Bellew though. So
yeah, but
it was like cruiserweight. But
yeah, it's cruiserweight. It's cruiserweight.
Tony Bellew is a big guy though. He's what 6'4", 6'5". He's a big guy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but he's best at cruiserweight though, not heavyweight.
There's not much in it though between.
There's not much in it. That's a fair point. There's not much.
Yeah.
There's not much in it. That's a fair point.
Tony Bellew has fought a heavyweight and he's beaten David Haye twice. So
Tony Bellew.
I think
that was a wrecked David Haye though.
Yeah, that was a wreck. But Usyk's not a small guy. He's still 6'3", and he's still got a little bit of a reach on him, and he's not a tiny little fella.
Yeah,
he's tiny compared to like a Tyson Fury or one of the bigger guys.
Yeah,
Wilder, because they're like bloody giants already, aren't they? They're like 6'6", 6'9", massive. But Joseph Parker's more manageable at 6'4", so you can see it. There's not really that much of a height difference in it. It's just the weight when it comes down to it. One man's going to be trained with that weight, one's man not.
It's just the weight, but we can't underestimate the power of weight. You know what I'm saying? And the power of overweight.
The power of underweight weights, though.
The power of underweight.
Not the power of underweight, but the power of being like the power of having no power. The power of being fast, agile, slick.
Yeah, 100.
That kind of power. Because if you're bashing a guy 10 times, what's the more damage? You're hitting the guy once with one power shot, hitting the guy 50% power 10 times. Because I'd rather be hit once in the head rather than 10 times in the head. 50%.
You just want to get knocked out.
That's what I'm saying. You'll be knocked clean out with one hit, or 10 hits. Bloody hell, you're in for it. You have that headache next morning.
Okay, so we're going into the last topic now. We're going last topic, and this will be it. What? Okay, well, rather than me racking my brain or looking at my sketchy notes, why don't we go to a window that I've actually already opened to act as a reminder. What's going on? Okay, everything's good over there. Everything is good over there. Actually, while I'm looking for what I'm looking for, why not give you people? Well, we have some entertainment while I'm looking for what I'm looking for. Well, there's a reason. Wilder's getting knocked out. Okay, yeah, there it is. There it is. We'll go with that. We're going to close that and go into that. Share the screen. Boom. Where is it? Damn it. I forgot where it was. Damn it. I'm gonna. Okay. Oh, oops. Okay. There we are. I think am I sharing? Yeah, I think I'm sharing. Okay. So, Fury's words. Wilder is getting knocked out in 2 rounds. 100%. Okay. And the article says, no matter your take on the outcome of the first fight, there is common ground on how the rematch will play out between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Most experts envisage only 2 possible scenarios. 1 is a knockout by Deontay Wilder, and option 2, a points victory for Tyson Fury. Let's go to Tyson Fury's quotes. Everyone's talking about I'm going to come out herky jerky. Herking and jerking. I'm not looking for herky jerky. I want him to meet me dead in the center of the ring. Let's have a slugfest. Best man left standing. Loser goes down. I have 20 knockout in 29 victories. He knows he was rocked 3 or 4 times in that fight, but I never had the gas to finish him. I'll be honest and truthful. I didn't have the gas. After the layoff and the weight loss, I never had the gas to put my foot down. This time, I can turn the screw until he's done. Okay, going on to some more quotes from Tyson Fury. Fact of the matter is, I'm not going to dress it up. I'm going to speak the honest truth, insists Fury. That's normally when he's lying. That's a joke. If I'm stupid enough to get hit by that big stupid right hand, then I deserve knocking out. And it will knock out anyone. He showed. He landed it and he knocked me down twice. But it's not how you go down. It's how you get up and respond. He knows he's not messing around with no quitter. I'm no ish house. I'm a fighting man. And his last set of quotes. The late, great Brendan Ingle once said, to beat Tyson Fury, you have to nail him to the effing canvas, claims Fury. And that's what this little skinny-legged super noodle will have to do. He'll have to nail me to the canvas. And if he can't do that, I'm going to beat him up. I'll meet you in the center of the ring, you big dosser. In the 22nd of February. You won't have to look anywhere for me. Just watch out for the right hand because you are going to sleep in 2 rounds. 2 rounds. He's going down in 2 rounds. I keep having a dream about 2 rounds. In poker, I keep getting dealt the number 2. It's definitely a thing. He's getting knocked out in 2 rounds, 100%. 100%, the watcher. Deontay Wilder's getting knocked out in 2 rounds, allegedly, apparently.
Oh, shit, my boy's going down. My boy's getting knocked out. Yeah. Wishing on a star, Fury. Wishing on a star. You know what, though? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Fury stopped him. I wouldn't, because he's 6'9".
Yeah.
And he might come in at like 250 plus pounds. Okay, so they can fight. You know, they can bang these heavyweights. Every heavyweight can punch. Maybe not the journeyman, but every heavyweight can punch at this level.
Right.
But this whole like I had a dream number 2, I'm being dealt cards number 2, it's all talk. You know, it's all a bit of nonsense. We know Fury talks this all the time. You know, he changes his mind on everything. Recently, Conor McGregor came out and he said that he's never spoken to Fury in his life. You know, about the whole MMA thing. So yeah, I mean,
he's a born liar, that Tyson Fury.
Yeah, you know, Fury. Wouldn't be surprised by it's not going to happen. He will not stand in the center of the ring. He will stand there to establish distance and, you know, just hold center, but not trade in the center. He won't trade in the center. If Wilder comes to the middle and starts swinging and throwing, then nah, he's there. Got to back off. He's going to be slipping, rolling. He won't trade. He will not trade.
Okay. So he won't what? He won't trade?
Yeah, he won't trade in the center. He won't exchange those shots.
Yeah, he won't trade. I got you. James.
Yeah, I've always not always, but I've said the last few times I've come on here, I've actually said I think Tyson Fury is gonna win by knockout. I don't think it's gonna be in the first 2 rounds. But I can see a 6th round, 7th round win, knockout, or a stoppage. That's what I could see probably more likely to happen, like a cut or something like that to happen. Yeah. Because we see how Tyson Fury That's the thing. Is Tyson Fury is not the biggest puncher. You know, he can pepper you, he can hurt you, but can he stop you? But Wilder, you know, his chin is tested and untested.
Yeah.
It's been tested by the rubbish that he's already fought, and it's been shown that it's a weakness in his game to a point. But you know, I can see it. What I'm saying is, I can see Tyson Fury doing it. I can see him knocking them out, but not in the first 2 rounds, unless Wilder really does have a bone to pick and does step in the middle.
Okay, so where are we now? Okay, so my take on it. Yeah, I can see Tyson knocking Wilder out. I don't think Tyson Fury is as feather-fisted as is often thought. I think he just chooses a style to fight where he can stick and move. But he's a big guy, and I think if he makes up his mind to put some power shots in there, in between his sticking and moving, I think he can be highly effective. So I do think Tyson Fury can knock out Deontay Wilder. Will he knock out Deontay Wilder? That is a different proposition. My original thought and feeling was that Deontay Wilder was going to bang out Tyson Fury, knock him out. That was my original thought. Now, I don't know, man. I don't know. Could go either way. Could still go either way. If I had to for one side or t'other, I think I'm still going to have to go with Deontay Wilder via KO. Deontay Wilder via KO. There, I've said it. I don't know if that makes it. It probably makes it less likely that we're going to see Undisputed in the next few years. I don't think I'll go one step further. I don't think we're going to see Undisputed if Deontay Wilder is holding the WBC belt. That said, I don't think that Tyson Fury would be all that much quicker to take the fight rather than Deontay in relation to the speed that Deontay, or the lack of speed that Deontay Wilder will take the fight. I don't think Deontay Wilder will fight Anthony Joshua. I don't think he has any intention of fighting Anthony Joshua because I think that's not in the business model. It's not in the PBC business model to have Deontay Wilder fight Anthony Joshua. They need a champion. And the matchups they make for Deontay Wilder are very favorable. They suit Deontay Wilder. So I don't see them making the matchup in any hurry at all. I find it highly conceivable that Deontay Wilder could retire without fighting either Anthony Joshua or Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte. Are we going around the table for the last time? Is it conceivable to you, James, that Deontay Wilder could retire before he fights Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, I can see it happening because when he fights Tyson Fury and gets a bit of brain damage, I think that's the end of his career. So that's the only time I see that happening. I think when he starts seeing flashing lights.
Okay, you're dropping out there. You're cutting up and dropping out there. So
sorry about that.
I'll do it again. Say it again.
I was saying, I think he will fight Dillian Whyte because it's obviously the mandatory. I think that will happen if he beats Tyson Fury twice.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I get you. The Watcher.
He will fight Fury this time, and I don't think Fury's going to want it again.
Okay.
And then he's got to fight Whyte. That fight with Whyte will definitely happen. I'm certain of it. Right. There's no way it can't happen because he's mandatory. And I think Wilder now, after the Fury fight, coming off a win, I think he'll just want Whyte. I think it'll be like, there's no one else except Whyte because Josh was a bit tied up. Actually, they both have Mandos anyway. So the Whyte fight will happen. And hopefully the Joshua one happens as well. I'm certain all of them will happen. It's just, a matter of when, really. So, yeah.
Okay. So that concludes business for today. We've chopped it up nicely. The flow was nice. The bounce was nice. I want to extend my thanks to everybody who came, who tuned in, who smashed the like button, who smashed the subscribe button. If you haven't already done so, smash the PayPal button. Don't leave it rusty for the pint of a beer once a month. What else is there to smash? Follow me on Twitter. Follow me. What did Cristiano say? AJ's boss, Eddie Hearn, has been keeping AJ away from Wilder, specifically to build up the fight. Eddie Hearn does intend to cash out on this eventually. Well, that's quite comedic. That's very, very funny because Anthony Joshua sent over a 120 mil contract to Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder declined. Deontay Wilder declined. If Whyte loses the Wilder fight, is history. Yeah. 100%. High risk poker being played out there. What did Cristiano say? I almost forgot. Yeah. So yeah. One, Wilder declined a 120 mil contract. Yes. The watcher has gone. Much appreciated. The watcher coming on. Much appreciated, watcher. So that's one. Deontay turned down 120 mil contract. 1. 2. AJ really is a lot of fighters say it, but he actually is his own boss. He employs Eddie Hearn. He cuts the checks. Joshua cuts the checks. Joshua is very business minded. People like Dillian Whyte followed in his footsteps when they saw him promoting his own fighters and getting his own stable of fighters. So Joshua is business minded. Deontay Wilder, on the other hand, he has people who tell him what to do. Joshua tells Eddie Hearn what to do. You see, so you got to ask backwards there. Eddie Hearn doesn't tend to cash out. No, Joshua makes the lion's share in that organization. He pays. Joshua cuts the checks. Unlike Deontay Wilder over there, who's listening to Massa Heyman. Yeah, he's getting directed. Gets directed.
So he hasn't got much check to cut anyway.
Who?
The amount of money that he makes, Wilder.
Wilder, the only checks Wilder cuts is to his baby mamas. I can't believe I went there. I was cold. I can't believe I went there. Okay, excellente. Follow the example of the Roo and follow me on Twitter. Yeah, I think that is it. Great reading in the chat, folks. Absolutely, the chat keep it bouncing. They even booked Wembley Stadium for Wilder in advance. Damn, how much can you ask? It's time for a link. No, we finished today. We'll be back. If I'm not back this week, Ross Clot, then I'll be back on Monday. But I'll probably be dropping some little cheeky little lives, some short lives. If not Thursday, then maybe Friday. Short one, a quick one. Maybe. I have a few things to say. Oh gosh. Yo, you know what, Ross Clark? Catch me on the next live, bro, because it's late over here and I still got a few little technical things to deal with after the show. So catch me on the next live, bro. Catch me on the next live, bro. Gotta get up out of here. Ross Clark. Got to get up out of here. But damn, what a dilemma. What a dilemma. Paste. Boom. Okay, so yeah, the link is in the chat. Ross Clark wants to got a few things to say. So come on in. Come on in, my friend. And then we just see what Ross Clark's got to say, and then we are out. But not yet. Waiting for Ross Clark. The so-called 100 mil false offer Eddie Hearn made was made to deter from the fact that Wilder agreed to fight AJ for a fight. Why didn't he fight him then? If he's going to fight him for 15 mil, why would he not fight him for 25 mil? Why did he not fight him for 25 mil? If you would, what's going on? What's going on? What is really going on? Distract maybe. It don't make no sense any which way you cut it. It don't make no sense. Cristiano Wu. Deontay Wilder has had ample opportunity to fight Joshua, ample opportunity to fight Whyte. I'll be on the next one. Okay, respect for that, Ross Clark, because I really do got to go. Appreciate that. Okay, so where are we? Yeah, so it has been the boxing talk with Raphie. First and foremost, thanks goes out to the people who have come in here, people who have smashed that like button, new subscribers who smashed the subscribe button, people who smashed the PayPal button. Don't neglect the PayPal button. Where we at? And yeah, for sure, if you are on Twitter, go ahead and follow me on Twitter for notifications when YouTube fails, and exclusive stories, exclusive tales of struggling to the top, the struggle to get a championship fight, bout. When you've been waiting for how many days? When you've been waiting for how many days? Ross Clark must really have some things to say. And open sesame. Hey, presto, he has joined us. Ross Clark up in the building. How you doing, my friend?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, man. I can hear you, and I can see you.
Hold on, because it seems like you guys can't hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, I thought you couldn't hear me.
No, man, I can hear you.
Oh, and no, I wanted to say that I think this whole Dillian, I don't want Dillian Whyte to fight Ruiz. I want him to fight Ortiz and get that out the way, because Ortiz fanboys been yelling and screaming, saying how everyone is so afraid of Ortiz, and that he's a better fighter than Ortiz. I mean, Ortiz is a better fighter, even though he has a bad resume. And I feel like if Whyte get him out the way, and I think Whyte can get him out the way, then that'll prove to everyone that Ortiz really wasn't that good, and that Whyte really deserves a shot at Wilder. He deserved a shot at Wilder a long time ago.
Yeah. Originally I would have said no, forget that. I would have said forget that. Don't forget about Ortiz. But as the show has progressed, because the topic came up early in the show, and I said forget about Ortiz, forget about him. What does that bring to Whyte? What does that bring? What does that do for Whyte? But you know what? We're at the end of the show now, and I think that Ortiz fight that would shut a lot of Wildettes. That would shut them up. There's no coming back for that. If Whyte fights Ortiz, I believe he beats Ortiz, and then there's no coming back from that. So you know what? My opinion has changed from the beginning of the show till now to the end of the show. Yeah. I don't mind Ortiz. I don't mind him fighting Ortiz at all. It might be a good thing. It won't progress him up in the rankings nowhere, but it would shut up the Wildettes.
Yeah, I agree because right now Ortiz is like the best fighter on Wilder's resume, and at the end of the day, it really doesn't say much about Wilder's resume at all. So once someone else knocks him off, then we'll take it. And this Whyte is a harder fight for Wilder than Anthony.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. It's it does pose different problems. And you know what? Thinking about it now, having time to reflect, the Ortiz fight. But you see, even then, it's opening a can of worms when you try to deal with Ortiz, because I believe they're full of crap. They are full of crapola. You'll make them an offer and they'll say they never received an offer. They tried to lie. They tried to lie about, yes, James has left the building. Thank you very much, James. Yeah, they tried to lie about the Joshua offer. They've told conflicting stories about previous Dillian Whyte offers. Yeah, and they're just not credible. They're just not credible. I can see Whyte making them an offer tomorrow and then them saying 2 months down the line they never received it. But yeah, try and make the fight. But I just trying to deal with Ortiz. I don't know. I don't think he wants to fight. I don't think he wants to fight Joshua, and I'm not convinced he wants to fight Whyte.
Yeah,
I'm not convinced. Yeah. So if they start up some negotiation,
I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go on this bridge, on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Okay, bro.
So,
okay, bro.
Thanks for having me on. I'll get
Thanks
on
for
earlier
jumping.
next time. I'll get on earlier next time.
Yeah, man. Cool and the gang. Thanks for jumping on. Even though it was just a quick one, it's still valuable and much appreciated. That was the Red Glove Militant. Much appreciated, Red Glove Militant. I mean Ross Clot. Sorry, Ross Clot. Thank you, Ross Clot. Okay, so Big Boys Boxing Rights. The problem is Ortiz is a 2-time title loser by KO and never beat anyone to earn his shot. At least Ruiz is a recently former unified world champion. Yeah, and if they do try to make any deal with Ortiz, I'm pretty sure that side is going to lie. That's what they do. They lied before. That's what they do. So it's like a waste of energy. I mean, if it's a question of writing a contract or just sending them a basic contract, standard contract, yeah, here you go, $2 million, take it or leave it, then fine. I'm cool with that. But anything, you can't waste energy with Ortiz, trying to deal with Ortiz, because I don't believe he wants to fight Wilder or Joshua. Eddie Hearn made up a ridiculous excuse on why AJ couldn't sign to fight Wilder. It wasn't a ridiculous excuse. They had I think it was Wembley. They had Wembley available for a certain period of time. That window closed. Or was it? What was the reason? Anyway, it's the end of the show. I'm not going to get into that right now. Come back next time. AJ couldn't sign a contract to fight. Well, hey, what do you mean couldn't sign a contract? They had the contract ready. They were prepared to sign the contract. But the savvy Hearn understands that he can simply say another thing to distract from the fact that he's stalling. I don't know what you're talking about. Come back next week. Hearn was stalling by making multiple offers. Cristiano Wu, come back and share your thoughts, share your wisdom with us. It's always appreciated. It is interesting. It is comical. It is entertaining. I will give you that much. And now, we've definitely come to the end of the show. I wanted to do 2 hours, but we've gone 2.5, and that's okay. Because I am pretty sure that you were entertained. BT put up the money for the Wilder offer. That's why they did not let Joshua see the terms. With BT putting up the money, would have breached Joshua's existing $100 million contract with Sky Sports. Well, BT didn't put up a penny. What happened is Frank Warren asked BT how much could they put up. So he didn't even put up the money. It was a hypothetical. They said they could hypothetically put up this amount of money. but it didn't take into consideration the fact that Joshua has an exclusive contract with Sky for the UK. I think now it's Sky, the zone for overseas. It was because Joshua couldn't fight on BT Sports. Exactly. He's under exclusive Sky. He's exclusively on Sky. PBC wouldn't let Sky show the fight in the UK. Exact Amundo signed with Sky. So that was pure nonsense about the 50 mil. That was pure nonsense. We've killed that so many times, but Cristiano Wu is here, is in the right place to get educated on these things. So Cristiano Wu, you're always welcome. You always bring that LDBC logic, non-logic. So it's greatly appreciated. Okay, folks. So we've overrun. But it was entertaining. I was entertained, and I trust you were also. Thank you to everyone who took time out of their day to jump on the panel. If I miss anybody, it's not intentional. Let's try and remember the order. It was Big Boys Boxing first, I believe. The Watcher, James, Red Gloved Militant, YG. Who else was there? Ross Clark just jumped in at the end. Much appreciation goes out to all. Thanks for coming. You've been in tune to Boxing Talk with Raphie 86. We talked about Dillian Whyte, Joseph Parker, Tyson Fury, Deontay, or should I say Deontay Wilder, and Old Man Ortiz. Probably touch on a couple of other things. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the Philip Carl Roberts. It's the Big Boys Boxing. It's the Cristiano Wu. It's the Ross Clark. It's the Will. It is the Rue 504. It's the Shiz Biz. Who else we got? And many, many more. Too many to remember. The Red Glove Militant, the Leighton Evelyn. Who else we got? The Jamaican. And the Wizard Sleeve. The Watcher. Okay. Boxing Talk with Raphie. It's been a good one. Mondays and Wednesdays, 10 p.m. UK time. Look out for the occasional Friday special. And for sure, check out the videos. The lifeblood of the channel. Like, subscribe, comment, share. It's been a good one. And the only thing left for me to say is blessed.